Hello everyone, so today I'm going to be filming another video, and this is going to be how to make bows 2. I made a video a couple videos ago, I think maybe 2 videos ago. I made how to make bows 1, and it was how to make bows like these with tassels and things, but I wanted to make one that didn't have tassels like this, so I just whipped this one up just now to show you guys what it's going to look like in the end. And you only need a couple supplies. You're just going to need some fabric, and you're going to need a hot glue gun and glue sticks in case you run out. So let's get into the video. Okay, so I began by cutting out a piece of fabric that's just this big, and I just cut out a really big piece of fabric just so it was easier to show you guys on camera instead of having a whole bunch of fabric there. So what I'm going to do now is decide how large I want my bow to be. Now I have this bow here that I just showed you. This is kind of what I'm going to be following because I like this size. So what you're going to want to do to find out what you want is you're going to fold your fabric in half. Okay, just fold it in half. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take each side of your fabric, fold it in, just like this, and then make a triple fold. I'll explain to you guys how to make a triple fold later, but just kind of like scrunch, if you don't know how, just kind of scrunch it together and see how it looks. Now this is a really big bow, of course. So as I said, I'm going to kind of be modeling it after this bow right here. So I'm going to kind of size it up, you know, make marks here and there. So like that, and then I'm going to fold the fabric in until I get about the width of this. Let's see if that's about right. So you can kind of play around with it until you get the size you want here. So I'm just going to kind of cut out some more fabric. Sorry it's hard to see sometimes. I don't have a very good camera here, so. Alright, so I'm just cutting out more fabric and just measuring things up and trying to get it to the size that I want for my bow. Okay. So, that's maybe right. I'm not too sure. I'm just going to cut it down a little bit more so it's a little smaller. Alright, that's about good. Now, of course, in the end, we're going to have all these edges hemmed and things. So, let's get into it. So, what you're going to do now is you're just going to fold it in half. And you can even iron this if you want a really strong crease. But I'm just going to kind of press it down with my fingers. I don't think you need to go too far out for an iron. But if you really want this perfect, then you can do that. But I'm just going to crease it a bit, so I can kind of see where that middle line is. I don't think I folded it in half perfectly or something because it's not a perfect crease. So, just going to kind of do that. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unfold it, and I'm going to take each side, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in. So folding each end in is the same thing as folding it in half. So you're still going to end up with the same width, but only we're going to have cleaned hemmed edges this time. So I'm going to kind of crease those a bit. And I'm going to come in with my glue gun and another stick in there. I'm going to add a line of glue along the edge. It does not have to be a large line. We're just going to fold it in. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It could just be a little tiny line. Basically, it's just to kind of hold it in place. And if it's not all glued, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to kind of glue down the edges, though. If they're not glued, it's probably good to glue down the edges. But if parts in the middle, like these parts, aren't glued, it's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other side. Just kind of glue it down like this. I glued it kind of far up this time, so I am just going to kind of come in here a little bit and add some glue, but you usually do not have to do that. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to bring each side into the center, just like we did when we were trying to measure out the piece. Just bring each side and fold it into the center. This is how we're going to get clean edges on either side here. So what we're going to do is just do that, kind of measure out how far you want them overlapping. You can always cut some more at this point. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, you can always cut more at this point. We're not too far into it to the point where you can't cut anymore. So I actually am going to cut it a bit because you don't want to have it too far overlapped. Alright, so now that that's done, I'm just going to take this and glue it down. So I'm going to put one side in, and I'm going to add some glue on that side that I just folded in. And I'm not gluing it to here, I'm just folding it down, and then I'm going to take my other side and glue that right on top. Just press it onto the glue. So basically now we have a tube. You see we have a tube. Everything's hemmed, everything looks nice. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set that seam that we just created, I call it the seam, and we're just going to put it right into the middle, just like this. And we're going to glue the sides down to the other side. And be sure it's only that little side. You want to be sure you don't glue over here, because that's what's going to make it look like a bow. So just glue a little bit in the middle, just in the middle, to keep it down so it's a little bit easier when we make our triple fold in the end. Actually, we're going to make that triple fold right now, so we're just going to create our fold like so. And you can play around with it. Another reason why you didn't want to add a lot of glue is because it may be a bit difficult to create the triple fold. So that's, you don't want to add too much glue. So that's why we're just adding glue in the corners there. Okay, so I kind of played around with this. I made my triple fold. Here's kind of what it looks like. It's not the best, but it's as much as I could do. I didn't want to take too much time on it. So I'm going to flip it over to the back, and I'm going to take my glue gun, and I'm going to just add some glue right in here. I'll kind of add a lot because you want it to be secure. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is just add some glue right into the right side. So just add some glue right in there. Okay, and if it squirts out, don't really worry about it. It's going to be covered up by a centerpiece, which is what we're going to be doing next. But I'm just going to first finish gluing all this down. I want to be sure it's all glued. So that's pretty much what it looks like, and there's going to be a centerpiece around there, and then we'll be done. So let's get into that last step. Okay, so I just cut out a piece of fabric here, just a random little piece of fabric. And what I'm going to do with it, I'm going to take it, I'm going to fold it over as thick as I want the centerpiece to be. Just fold it over a little bit. I'm going to take my piece here and kind of wrap it around and see if that's about good. It's about the thickness I need. So then I'm just going to keep folding it over. You want to be sure that you can fold it over at least 2 times. So that's 2. Hold on, I'm just actually going to straighten out the edge here a little bit. Okay, so it's 1. That's 2. That's 3. I usually don't like to go any more than 3. But you see here, I can go 4 times. So I'm just going to cut a little bit. I just want enough to move it over at least 2 times, but probably at max 3 or 4 times, but still have a little bit of extra on the end. And that little extra is what we're going to fold over, and that's going to close it off. So I take my glue gun and put some glue on that little extra line that we just made. I'm just going to fold it over. Okay? So that's all folded over, it's glued, and it's nice and secure. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add it to my bow. Okay? So I'm just going to wrap it around. I'm going to be sure that everything fits nicely. Kind of fix it up a bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some glue to the front, and then I'm going to put that centerpiece around it. So now the front is all glued down, okay? Now we're going to glue it to the back. So I'm going to start off by taking one of the ends. You see I have 2 ends here. And I'm going to cut off one of the ends. I'm going to cut it off just enough so I can wrap it around the back, okay? So I'm going to add some glue and wrap it around the back. To hold it in place, since I don't want to burn my fingers, I'm going to put the other end, it's a bit longer, I'm just going to wrap it around to hold it in place. I don't think I put the centerpiece exactly in the center, but I'll just have to deal with it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my next piece, this side, I'm going to add some glue, and I'm going to hold it like this. I'm going to have my middle finger on this piece and my thumb down here. You see that? And I'm going to roll it. Just roll it right over top of it, just to keep that nice and secure. Okay, and once that's all glued down, then you could just cut off the extra. And I like doing that rolling thing because it just helps it keep everything in place. And then I just take all these little side pieces, I just kind of glue everything down so that it doesn't look bad in the back. Okay, so now that that's all glued, you're pretty much done with your bow. Literally all that's left to do is maybe add a clip to the back or something like that, and you can have a hair clip, or you could just keep it like this for decoration. You can, if you're making an outfit, you can make it look like a bow tie if you don't want to make the string and try and tie a bow tie. You could just make this and then glue it on. There's many things that you can do with this. So this is how to make bows 2, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and that's pretty much it. So bye!